Well, Selection, how do you do, Buckaroos? How the heck are you? You know who I am. I'm having issues with Facebook this evening, so you'll have to connect through YouTube to watch. It just said StreamYard was having trouble connecting through Facebook. So, anyways, anyways, I digress. Let's see here. See if it's working now. Well, I don't know if it's working there. It's not showing it like it usually does for me. There we go. Yeah, I guess that's all right there. Okay. Anyways, anyways, I digress. Let me put that up there. Oh, put a little fireplace background there, as you can see. Just that, just slightly there. There we go. Anyways, I just grabbed one whiskey, made two separate cocktails using the Ben Holiday 6-year old Missouri straight bourbon whiskey. This is a Rickhouse proof. I picked this up back in August of last year, and you just see I probably got one nice neat pour left in there. Rickhouse. This one is at 117.9. Let me show that to you. So I did two cocktails. I made a yesterday. I made a lime coconut simple syrup. So it is sort of an old fashioned inspired cocktail with that, using the whiskey, the lime simple syrup, some cherry bitters, coconut lime simple syrup. So I've got a cherry and a coconut strip there as a garnish. We're going to start with this one. Oh man. So rye. A lot of folks will tell you should use a rye to make an old fashioned or a Manhattan, and they're not necessarily wrong, but you can find early recipes of a cocktail that will use bourbon. Here's the caveat though: you've got to use a traditional bourbon. You can't or you shouldn't use a wheated bourbon. I know it's a lot of younger folks will like to use wheated bourbons in their old fashions. And for me, you're taking a sweet drink and making it even sweeter. But other than that, though, the wheated bourbon doesn't have the dimension to hold up to an old fashioned, in my opinion. If you're not going to use rye, you've got to use a traditional bourbon that uses rye as a secondary. Having said that, the truth is make the cocktail any way you want. Hell, I don't care. The cocktail place aren't going to show up at your door, make them any way you want. I just think for me, a wheated bourbon is too sweet in an old fashioned. You got a sweet drink and you're making it sweeter. Uh, Wheated bourbons to me also don't have the body that a traditional bourbon has. So for me, they feel a little light. They feel a little thin. So I don't typically use a wheated bourbon making an old fashioned or a Manhattan. That's not where they're best served, in all honesty. Oh, this is nice. I do like that coconut lime simple syrup. I use some key lime juice. Some unsweetened shaved coconut, raw sugar, equal part sugar to water. If I make it again, though, I want to let that coconut really sit in there a little longer. Gave it about 30 minutes, and that was nice. But if I want more prevalent coconut nose, I may give it just a little more. I did some a while back that my wife really liked. I did an almond coconut. And then after I made that syrup, she dried those ingredients out, the coconut and the almonds, and used it for a cereal topping. And that was a good use of the ingredients, that nothing went to waste. I really like that syrup too, but I was trying to come up with something lighter. Going into May, I was trying to come up with a cocktail. And I was looking at the ingredients I had: the coconut, the lime, ginger. Um, but I went with I wanted to try this lime coconut to see how it would be. And I really like it. I've gotten pretty good responses from when I've talked to people about it, but I have run across some folks that just don't like coconut. So I'm going to have to come up with an alternate simple syrup. But hell, not everybody likes. There's always going to be something. I did a lavender simple syrup last month. A lot of folks said they didn't like lavender, but tried it anyway and liked it. But coconut can be overpowering. I get it. Oh, man, that's a nice drink. I did that yesterday with some rum, kind of try to create a daiquiri like cocktail, and that worked well too. But I want to try it with some whiskey today. I want to try it with different things to see how it reacts the best. We'll try it with a rye, but this whiskey has a nice rye content. Don't remember if it says here on the bottle. I don't guess it does. The other one I think did. Yeah, they don't give me the mash here, unfortunately. Aged 6 years in new charred oak barrels. This stuff is great. I'm going to be sad to see it go. I've got to make a. I probably won't get to Kansas City this year though, because we made 2 trips last year, and we've got other things going on this year. We haven't been to St. Louis in a lot of years, so we're gonna at least have one day in St. Louis. So I doubt if I'll get to that side of the state this year. But boy, I really like out of Western Missouri. These holiday products are just crazy good. But that's just the thing, though. The Kansas City area has so much good whiskey. You've got a Holiday in Weston, a little north of KC. You've got Union Horse in Lexington, just outside of KC. And then you've got Restless Spirits in North Kansas City. Lifted Spirits, I didn't get a chance to get to their distillery last year, but I've got one rye here. I got back in August. If I just saw this first, I probably would have used it. Lifted Spirits. This rye is, oh my gosh, this is a Madeira cask finish. And I wanted to get to the distillery, but their hours were kind of limited. We weren't in that area at that time. But boy, if their other products are as good as this one, oh mercy. There's a lot of great stuff out there. But I know there's some good products in St. Louis. We just haven't visited there in a while. I've got this American single malt from Switchgrass. I've had their bourbon and rye before, which is outstanding, by the way. But this 90 proof single malt American is crazy good. But you also got Still 630 out there, and there's some others. So, anyways, we'll see what I come across. I get to where I have a lot of stuff open at the time, and then I kind of quit opening things, and then I try to work through what I got. Now I've got a lot of stuff empty. Don't want to really open up anything right now. I'm going to wait till closer to my birthday before I open up anything. I'm going to wait till May before I open everything up. But by then, because it seems like I had at one time I had several bottles. I finished off of a couple recently. Right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. God, that many? There's that many here. Oh, no, can't count that one. That's not a whiskey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right now, I've got 12 whiskeys between bourbon, American single malts, and rye open. But now they're all getting near the end, so I'm going to be empty. I'm going to have everything gone pretty close to the same time, so then I'll have nothing again. We'll have to open up a few. But I'm trying not to buy a lot because my wife and I have our anniversary trip coming up soon. Well, it's a few months away, but we're trying to save away for that, or save up for that, I should say. So I didn't do a version of a Manhattan using that same whiskey, as you can see here. I've got about 2.5 ounces of the whiskey. I've got about an ounce of sweet vermouth. I usually use less sweet vermouth, but my hand kind of sometimes my hand slips. I only want to put about a half to 3/4 ounce, but my mind wandered as I was pouring, so I ended up with more sweet vermouth than typical. Bitters I used in both drinks, cherry. So I try to keep both of them as similar as possible. Just change that, the lime, coconut in this, and here is just sweet vermouth because it's a Manhattan anyway. Well, I do like a classic Manhattan. No, something I haven't tried. I think I'm going to have to because I'm just curious. A Manhattan is typically made with rye, but there's nothing wrong with using a bourbon as long as you're using a traditional bourbon that uses rye as a secondary. However, I'm real curious about trying some of these American single malts in a cocktail because I've been drinking them neat. I tried them on the rocks, most of them on the rocks, just to see. But they are really whiskeys that should be drank neat because obviously, I mean, they're a single malt whiskey, so single malt should be drank neat. But I am curious to how it would react in a Manhattan with that malted barley. And y'all know sometimes curiosity does get the better of me. Sometimes it just does, man. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes, and it happens to me every once in a while when I try to set up the video through StreamYard. I guess there's been some issues with uh, Facebook. Sometimes it won't connect. So I post the link for YouTube. So you've got to click the YouTube link and then you can watch it live with us. But yeah, you got to post that. You got to click that YouTube link. So, anyways, yeah, for some reason, sometimes my other channels won't connect. Right? I've got I got my main channel, and I've got my Beer Whisper, my Whiskey Whisper, and my At the Pub podcast page. And sometimes it will connect to my main page, but not those. But today I wouldn't connect to any of them. But then after I did that, it popped up. We are experiencing difficulties connecting to Facebook. Okay, fine. Ah, the Manhattan. There is just something special about a Manhattan. A lot of folks will tell you to only use certain liquors or certain price point liquors in a cocktail. But the truth is, your cocktail is only as good as the ingredients you put in it. But however, having said that, what's top shelf to me on my budget, in my working class life, is different to somebody who is, wealthy. So what I'm using as what I feel is a top shelf whiskey, they might see as closer to bottom shelf. The truth, it's just like cooking, right? They tell you not to cook. If you're cooking with wine, only use a product that you would drink. And it's the same with the whiskeys. I mean, hey, Vanessa, how are you? Got off work about 9:30, I guess. Got home and I've got to work tomorrow, but I decided to go ahead and just do a video here because I really need to kind of wind down. Doing okay. Doing okay. There you go. Yeah, that's good. If you're drinking anything, let me know. We can talk about that as well. I just finished up a version of an old fashioned. I say a version of because so there are some purists out there who will say, "Tom, that's not quite." So what I did is I was using the Ben Holiday Brickhouse bourbon. This is at 117.9, and I did again a version of an old fashioned. I did about 2 ounces, and it was about 2 1/4 ounces of the bourbon with an ounce of my homemade house made, if you will, lime coconut simple syrup, and I used the cherry bitters. So we finished that up, but now I'm using or now I'm having a Manhattan. So I've got the whiskey, the sweet vermouth, if you will, and then I use cherry bitters instead of traditional Angostura. Kind of changes the drink just slightly. Hey, Jason, how are you, man? I'm gonna post your comment there. Thanks, Vanessa and Jason, for joining me. You guys know the drill. You've been around before. Get any questions or comments? Put it up there. Tell me what you're drinking. We can have a conversation. Ah, the classic Manhattan. There's something special about a Manhattan. I don't typically order cocktails out because I feel like I'm always disappointed. The caveat to that is that when I'm on vacation, I have a different attitude about such things. So, the couple places I've had Manhattans that were just beyond outstanding is several years ago. I was at the Moonrise Hotel of the Del Mar Loop in St. Louis, Missouri, and they do a month-old Manhattan and a year-old, and both of those versions were just insanely good. They weren't cheap. They weren't, but see, that's vacation money. Vacation money's different. You're planning on spending that money. That's what you've got budgeted. So I don't worry about it, my day-to-day life. If I go out, I worry about what I spend. But when I'm on vacation, that's a whole different animal, man. Jason says, I really enjoy Manhattans, and I find that most good steakhouses make amazing cocktails, especially in Las Vegas. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I haven't been to Vegas in a lot of years, Jason, but I'm guessing they charge well for them too. The other one I wanted to tell you about though was in Kansas City at Tom's Town Distilling, and I mentioned some other Kansas City distilleries, but I neglected to mention that one. Jay Riggers I forgot to bring up too. Now that I mentioned it, but anyway, Tom's Town does an amazing Manhattan. That thing was those are the ones I've had that were worth whatever I paid for them. They were good, but again, that was it's vacation money, right? I'm willing to do things on vacation that I'm not willing to do in my everyday Tom working class life because you've saved up for that vacation, man. You're going to treat yourself. So I'm looking forward to that on this particular vacation. In the past, we've only been able to take a couple days here, a couple days there. So we've taken several small trips throughout the year. But this year, we've decided to take one big one near closer to the end of the year for our 30th anniversary, and not take any of the small ones to try to save some money so we can do things big again. Vacation money, right? You know, so I can order that cocktail or that special beer or that whiskey there because where we're going has several breweries and distilleries and a lot of great restaurants too. So I'm really excited about it as I start looking up places that are in that area. And we're actually staying in a above, I guess I should say, above a craft brewery. It's a brew dog location where they have a hotel there, so we're staying in one of the rooms there. So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited that my wife actually found it, picked it. So before I booked the room, I said, are you sure? Are you sure this is a good idea? It'd be like putting somebody that loves candy above a candy store. Are you sure? Because I'm okay with this, but I need you to understand. you know. Anyway, Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate you and Vanessa joining me and asking questions. I like to do the Q&A, the feedback. That's what makes the videos. I don't know, so I'm torn about doing live videos while I'm gone because I tell you it's not great to announce your location, right? Tell me, hey, I'm out of town. Come rob me. But yeah, again, because I'm going to some specific places, I would love to be able to do live video from those locations. So I'm a little torn. I'm going to have to reconcile that. Knowing it's not a great idea to be, really want to do it though. So I've got to find that balance and see where I end up. Because there's several places there. Well, I would love to do live video from the place we're staying for obvious reasons. But there are several breweries, distilleries, etc., that I would love to do live video from. So, and I may just have to buy a memory card because I'm going to do more videos and it's gonna my memory's going to allow. So I may just have to do a lot of videos and then format them later and put them up instead of doing the live videos, which I really enjoy doing the live videos because I like that. I like that perspective of here we are. It's this time we're live. That's why I typically like using StreamYard because that allows me to go out to all of my social media, the platform formerly known as Twitter, owned by the Twit himself. Uh, and then my Facebook, obviously my various Facebook. I haven't figured out. They say there's a way to get Instagram on there, and I can't figure it out. You got to use a stream key, and I can't find where the hell the stream key is. There's a cheat sheet to show you how to look for it, and I've done everything step by step. But as I do that, it doesn't pull up my stream key, so I still can't figure it out. Apparently, I'm going to need somebody more tech savvy than I. Anyways, I digress. Well, we probably better wrap this up. I'm getting old and tired as we speak. Mercy Percy. I want to show you this bottle of whiskey one more time, though, before I do that. Out of Weston, Missouri. Ben Holiday, Missouri Straight Bourbon Whiskey, Rickhouse Proof. This stuff is crazy good. I also have their soft red wheat rickhouse, which is pretty freaking outstanding. But again, for this cocktail, I wanted to use the traditional. Even though this red wheat at Rickhouse is pretty big and probably would stand up to it, I really wanted to use the traditional for this particular application, doing the old fashioned and the Manhattan. Anyway, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all right, good guys, Sláinte.